Tune in, it's time for comedy. Bringing stars and stories, it's where you wanna be. From celebs to entrepreneurs, she's got the scoop. Community and entertainment, she's in the loop. Every smile a burst of velvet light. Through the screen she shines so bright. With the laughs and tales that weave tonight.
Well, welcome to another episode of SKST Radio, and you tuned into the Cammie Grayson Show, and I am Cammie Grayson, your host, and I have a brand new friend. He goes by the name of Chris Legacy. Hi, Chris. Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up, Cammie? Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Chris, tell people who you are and what you do.
Well, my name is Chris Fairley. My stage name is quick story behind that. I served some time in the military, and
Okay.
when you when you release or do anything when you're in that uniform, the military sort of owns it, and so we had to kind of come up with an alias name, and so we so we went with Chris Legacy, and that's kind of it's kind of stuck with this. But a recording artist, producer, concert promoter, and just lover of people.
Okay. So you use the word we. Who is the we?
Mhm. We uh, friends, folks that were with us. You're in the military. That camaraderie is real strong. So I had a ton of folks that supported us, and they were like, "Hey, man, if you really want to do your thing musically, you got to find out a way to do your thing and not be so nervous, right? And
Mm-hmm.
afraid to release." And so that's what we came up with.
Okay, wonderful. Look at you. So, you are from, you did your military service here near Virginia, or where were you?
So I not originally from Mississippi. I probably fast forwarded too far, right? I'm originally from a little town, Moss Point, small town in
Okay.
Mississippi. And obviously as time went on, I did join the military. Um, I've been all over the world.
Hmm.
Served initially in Europe. Got an opportunity to be a part of army bands, army entertainment, if you will,
Okay.
in Europe. And so I traveled performing for service members, family members, dignitaries to the nation. Did that for a little while. Then came back to the States, got back into my regular job. And I tell you what, that's why it's so good to not ever burn bridges, right?
Right.
That there was a gentleman that I met back in Europe who later on became the DOD Training and Doctrine Command guy, right? So he was in charge. And they were looking at ways to save money in the military. They say, hey, how can we save money and still build morale for service members? And what they were
Hmm.
speaking on was doing concerts and shows. And they said, hey, why don't we reach within, grab some talent from within, and see if we can save some money that way? And I had come across a friend of mine had told me to reach out to him, and I did. And he said,
Hmm.
"Hey, man, you're in just the nick of time." He said, "We have these auditions coming up for to hire folks to become vocalists for the military." So I went and did that, auditioned, and Cammie, I was doing that for the last 11 years of
Wow.
my military service. Yeah.
Wow. So it's kind of like USO or something like that, right?
We did a lot with USO, um, MWR. Um, who else was a part of that component? Obviously, Army Entertainment had a strong hold on that. But to answer your question, Virginia, I actually when we did the audition training, it was at Little Creek.
Okay. I know what that is.
There in Virginia. So we did that for 2 weeks. That was really cool. They brought a bunch of industry guys and girls in to kind of train us up on, singing techniques, stage presence. And you know, I have been recording and singing Cami for a while, but I didn't realize the importance, right, of understanding from the stage perspective and
Yeah.
how to connect with an audience. And
Yes.
some of those things were really vital in that training.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
amazing because people think they could just do it, right? Or they've done it so long their way, they don't realize it's technique. There's training. You know, you come and do a podcast, you're thinking, oh, I could, I could just do it on my phone. No, you come to
Right.
the studio where we are, you see a
Mhm.
whole different world. People are like blown away. So yeah, with singing, it's the same way. Once there's trained vocalists, right? And then
Mhm.
there's
Mhm.
self-made vocalists. And so,
Right.
it's a big difference, and it makes a difference once you have that training behind you.
I think it does. I think it does, and obviously, I know on both sides of that. It's one thing to get behind a microphone and man, he can sing, and man, she can sing, but it's something more when you can connect,
Hmm.
right? When you can
Hmm.
take that vocal ability and you know when to move to the left, you know when to reach your hands out,
Hmm.
and then how to acknowledge the audience, right? How to
Yes.
set up the next song, how to communicate with your band, all of that stuff. It's important when you're presenting and touring.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to be amazed by, the conductor, when he's tapping and then he's getting this group over here to play this, thinking that group over there. Until I got in choir, I didn't really realize,
Uh-huh.
how much of a real skill that was, right? And so,
Absolutely.
it's all about the training. It's all about
It is.
learning your
It
craft,
is. It
So,
is.
but
Yes.
I love it.
Hmm.
Absolutely love it. So now are you completely out of military now, or what are you
I
doing?
am. Yeah. I hung the uniform up back in 2021. Right as I was hanging up the uniform, I started to get more into entertainment and promoting shows.
Hmm.
Over the years, traveling the country, singing the anthem, I don't know, maybe 800,000 times, right? But what it did, though, Cammy, what it did was it put me in great places to meet folks, right? I'm an old country boy from Mississippi, love to talk, I love people. And so I would find myself in great situations or great conversations with folks, managers of artists, the artists themselves. I would be in green rooms with some of the biggest names in the industry, right?
Hmm.
But I would be in uniform getting ready to sing the anthem, and they would be getting ready to do a concert, right?
Uh-huh. Hmm.
But yeah, I hung the uniform up in 2021 and started putting shows together and started reaching into that Rolodex, reaching out to folks that I've met over the years and said, hey, you remember that time you said you would come and perform for the soldiers?
Hmm.
Why don't you come through and do this show for us, man? And so we start putting some of those things together, and yeah, so
Yeah,
fun
yeah,
times, and here we are, right?
yeah. But just so let's go back a little bit more though. So you
Hmm.
started in 2021, and then
Hmm.
2022 is when COVID pretty much hit. So did that affect you and what you were
It
trying to build at that time?
it it did. It's funny you would say that. So as we were building uh, and building up our reputation as a concert promotion team, and yeah, COVID hit. And when it hit, though, we were able to kind of pause because it was a whole lot of uncertainty,
Right.
and it was the states and obviously the government got involved, and so we would have to pull ticket sales, refund money. But right
Yeah.
on the tail end of that thing, we were able to pull off a Blues and Ribs Fest out in Georgia, and we were one of the first ones to hit the ground just outside of what's the big thing? The golf tournament in Augusta, the Masters. Just outside of the Masters, we reserved hotel space and things of that
Mhm.
nature. And so some of the people in the city, when we had our event, it was we had some great numbers to come out, but they were really excited, and they said the timing was perfect because they hadn't had anything other than the Masters to do
Yeah.
numbers like that. Yeah, yeah, but it did though, Cammy. It did affect things, and then uh, if it's some folks, some promoters, unfortunately, are about the dollar, and we were really concerned for people,
Right.
right? And so we went above and beyond to ensure that we were executing things safely. But it did affect things. It really did.
Wow. So now you have a lovely song, and I just want to know, did you write this song? Did you produce it? How did you get that going?
I did. I guess I'm a little odd, like other artists, right? In their creativity. I had the idea of the music first, and I keep my cell phone with me, so I kind of recorded bits and pieces of it, and I shot it over to one of my producers, Kevin, and I said, "Hey man, see if you could build some music around this." And Kevin is phenomenal, by the way. In fact, he just produced a song. What's the gospel artist name? I can't. Zaccardi Cortez. Just produced a song with Zaccardi, but and Kev built the music around it. So I took it and I started writing lyrics to it. But the way the lyrics came, it was from a conversation I had some years ago with a coworker, female coworker. She just kind of needed to vent. And she said, "Hey Chris, if you got a second, can I chat with you? I need somebody to talk to." And so she started sharing that information. Now I wasn't expecting what I heard, but I was a listening ear. You know what I mean?
Right,
so,
right.
She and of course we had been working together for quite a while. I knew her family, she knew my family, that type of thing. And so I was just kind of blown away at what she was sharing with me, and later on, of course, with what she told me, they eventually separated and divorced. But it just kind of, and obviously the song is, I hope I'm not overstepping things now, but the song is about domestic violence essentially, and how so many folks, male and female, and get this, since I've written the song and other folks have heard it, different advocates, different programs, I've sat down with folks, and I'm blown away at the numbers.
Wow.
I'm blown away at the men and women, mostly women, about a good 92% is women that's affected by this. I'm just blown away at the folks that go through this and don't say anything.
Right.
And that a lot of times that's out of fear. In fact, we just had a listening video release about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And we had this cool VIP set up with the rug, with the couches. It was plush with the lights, right? And so the facility helped us promote it, and but the tent was outside, and so there were ladies that came through, and they, of course, for their time, they were compensated, with food and beverages. But some of them hadn't heard of the song, and then when they sat down and they listened to it, a few of them were very emotional. And they were like, "Hey, I went through that," or "My sister went through that," or "A close friend of mine went through what that song is talking about." And it's just amazing how this particular song touches so many people.
I love it. I love it. So we have the song. Can you introduce the song for us and give us permission to play it?
Yeah, you got permission to play it. It's called "Less Than a Woman." It's a song that, again, that I wrote, and it speaks out for those who are going through similar situations with domestic violence, who can't really speak for themselves.
I love it.
At work, and I had a female coworker come up to me, and she was hurt down and depressed. She said, "Chris, I need to talk to somebody." And this is what she told me: "It's hard staring in the mirror 'cause I can't stand who it is I see. I see this heartbroken little woman, so sad, so depressed, staring right back at me. Some days I do nothing but cry. I just lay there, and sometimes I wanna die. She said, I feel less than a woman. She said, well, I feel less than a woman. Less than a woman. And this is what she told me. She said, I used to wake up in the morning, I had breakfast laid out on the table. I even dropped out of college. I got a job and I helped him with his mortgage. Well, we even had kids. Sometimes I wonder why I did. Now after all the verbal and physical abuse, I feel so broken, damaged and used. Well, she said, I feel less than a woman. Sometimes I don't feel like myself. Yeah, she said, I feel less than a woman.
Wow.
Chris, I love it. Absolutely love it. You know, it's one of those songs that it kind of remind you like a cross of blues and kind of like the juke joint music. You know what I mean? You know,
Yeah.
like a hole in the wall. And just kind of hang out, have to bring your own drinks.
Grown folks, yeah.
Yeah,
BYOB with the brown bag.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Is that the feel that you were trying to get with that?
I think that's what it turned into when I had the idea. I had the hook, and then of course the guitar riff. That if I played it back to you, it would probably blow you away. But yeah, it just felt like that. And there's certain instrumentations that would do that, right? And obviously that guitar brings it home. Funny story, being from Mississippi, my grandfather had a juke joint. Right? Now it wasn't like called, Paw juke joint. It wasn't like that. Through the day it was like a venue where they served breakfast and lunch. It was really small, and it was in Jackson, Mississippi. If you've ever heard of Jackson, Mississippi. Yeah. So, and this was back in the day, back when times were really different, where things were segregated to a certain extent. And the rumor is, as my auntie would always tell me, in the evening time, they would push them tables and them chairs back. And they cut that music on, and they go get some of Grandpa Moonshine out the back.
Oh my goodness!
And they would do their thing, but the word got out throughout Mississippi to the point where, and this is rumored because I didn't see it, but this is part of the story, is that folks throughout Mississippi from the Gulf Coast all the way down from the Delta, they would come there on Sundays. They would cross the railroad track and go hang out at Grandpa's spot, and they would just kind of hang out and do their thing, and they were protected because my grandpa, he was like a 6'5", he was kind of a big dude, and so on the job, on the what they call the white folks job back then, but on the job, he was a regulator for people that looked like him. And so in exchange for that, they took care of him. And so on those weekends, it would be cops on the other side of the track that would protect the other folks from coming in on them. And so it was it was pretty historic. My auntie would tell me about it, but she said, yeah, he had that juke joint. He'd be coming home late and falling all over the place. But yeah, sure, that music I can I would imagine those folks can relate because of the feel of it, right?
I feel of it, right? Yeah, and the whole meaning behind it is strong. It really is strong. So what about the lady herself? Did you share this song with her? Did you get permission?
No, this was years ago. So I've lost contact with her. And I prefer it not to be a thing where we're calling someone out, right? But it was certainly the motivation from that story that motivated me to put the lyrics to the song.
Okay.
And I saw the direct results of that after that preview, but during the preview when other folks were touched by the words, and they were, they connected with some other women and they were hugging. That's something about y'all women now. Y'all love on each other, support one another to the greatest extent. But it was remarkable to see those connections. And what we're going to do later on is release some of those testimonies from that, some audio, and we obviously won't put their faces to it, but no, I didn't reach back out to her. She, to my knowledge, she did get away from that situation. But no, I haven't spoken with her directly.
Okay. Well, I'm sure when she realizes you, she'll be reaching out to you.
And I'm sure.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, you sometimes you can kind of hit and miss, and then when she realizes you singing that song, then it's gonna come back to her. And so you have to be prepared for that day. It's gonna be some crying. It's gonna be some wow going on. You were a pillow, right? You were someone there for her, listening to her whole situation, and you probably were instrumental in helping her get out of that situation. So you mentioned that
I would imagine so.
Yeah. So I think that's wonderful that you came up with that. I really do. So speaking of being wonderful and things that you would do, so now we're to the point where we are asking for words of wisdom. So if someone that was younger than yourself, who wants to follow in your footsteps, it's going to be kind of hard for this one because you've been in the military the whole time. But if someone wants to follow in your footsteps, what type of advice would you give them?
To stay the course. And I guess it depends on where they are, right? So if this was just speaking in general, being creative a lot of times can be a lonely road, right? Your vision, your ideas, and hoping that others can relate or connect with you. There'll be times where you'll feel like you're out there by yourself, but don't quit. As long as you believe, as long as you keep dreaming, right? Then at some point things will break for you. Yeah.
Wow. So what's next for you, Chris? What you got going on next?
We're gonna keep pushing the music. We may make another release here shortly. I've got some other music that I've released in the past. In particular, I had a song that was certainly juke joint-ish, right? And it's actually behind me here, hot sauce, baby. We released that, and we're looking to do a remix to that. And there was a line dance to that. It came in.
Really?
If you've been around for a day or two right now, you know that line dancing is now the new craze
Again,
around
yeah.
the country. Yeah. So this particular song, Hot Sauce, had a line dance to it, and we're thinking about doing a remix to it, and doing like a hot sauce too. We had the whole at shows we would give away hot sauce bottles, folks, hot sauce T-shirts. It was a whole lot of fun. So that's likely the next thing that we'll be doing here shortly. But of course, we're going to continue to push this particular track, and continue to be an advocate and speak out for those who can't, or who may not have the courage to speak out or speak for themselves.
Right. Yeah, I can see that being very popular, especially when, those particular events pop up. That could be like a theme song. And so, great job.
Sure. Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay. Any way people can get in contact with you to find your music, your website? Want to give them that?
Sure. Yeah. All digital platforms. The music is available. You can reach out to us, chrislegacy.com. We're on Instagram, TikTok, Chris Legacy Music. And you can connect with us there. But if not, for sure, chrislegacy.com.
Okay, wonderful. Well, we want to thank Joe for this connection. You have a friend in Virginia.
Man. Joe, my man.
Thank Joe for the connection. And we got a little commercial to play when we're done with this. But I also want to invite you to SKST Studios whenever you're in the area. We are right here, Virginia Beach, not too far from Norfolk.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so we're right here. We'd love to have you at the studio, and
Sure.
just you're part of the family now. So just reach out. Okay.
Well, we certainly appreciate you allowing us to come on this platform to hang out with you for a little while. And girl, listen, you're doing your thing. I saw some of the other podcasts. I said, she is a natural.
Oh, well, thank you.
She is a natural. So we certainly appreciate you and what you're doing for folks like me.
Absolutely. That's what we're here for.
All right.
All right. Until next time, guys, SKST Radio. And let's tell Joe we love him by playing his video. All right, guys. Chris, tell him bye.
All right. Bye. Y'all be good.
Get worldwide airplay, boost online streaming and sales. Get noticed by major labels like BMG, Sony Music, and Empire. Your videos aired on TV in millions of homes. See what Never Stop Entertainment can do for you. Visit us now at neverstopent.com.